In this video, we're going to talk about how to protect your energy from energy vampires. If you're feeling drained around certain people or in certain situations, then that is your signal that you're being drained of your life force energy. Energy is currency, and currency has a value to it. Your energy is your most valuable resource, and you have to protect it. My name is Tiffany, and I'm a holistic wellness coach. I equip people with the tools to reduce stress and also assist them in living a life full of energy and purpose. A lot of what I talk about on my channel is how to make habits stick, how to change your identity, and how to be consistent with your goals. Three main things to help habits stick is time, energy, and focus. Today, we're going to talk about energy. If you're being drained of your energy, that is currency going away from you. That is a value that is being depleted, and you are not able to then give more at that point. So we need to set boundaries, healthy boundaries, to be able to sustain our energy and be more intentional about where we give it to and who we allow to take any energy. But boundaries, we don't want people to take anything. We want to be able to give it to them. If people are taking, then that means we're going to start to feel resentment. We're going to start to feel negative emotions and just being depleted. So if you feel like something's been taken away from you, that is definitely a signal that you're being drained of your life force energy, not by your choice. And we need to set some healthy boundaries. The first step is doing an energy audit. As an empath, I know going out in this world, we absorb energy, we can feel different things, you want to help people, but at what cost? It is costing you something, and you have to be intentional. It is like setting a budget, your financial budget. This is an energy budget. So what you want to do is you're going to want to track for the next 3 days, track how you feel around certain people, how you feel in certain places, and with certain situations, and write that down. So when you go to work, how do you feel? How are you feeling around certain coworkers? How are you feeling around certain family members, friends? How do you feel at certain stores? How do you feel when you walk into certain rooms? We want to start to track this and be more aware of it. If you don't write it down, at least just be aware of it over the next 3 days. What feels like it is pouring back into you, what feels good, and what does not. The next method is what they call the gray rock method. Now, this is when you're around people and places that you can't avoid, kind of like work, places that you have to go to. Now, but you can't avoid, and you have noticed that you are being drained and you don't feel very good about it. So what can you do in those situations? Well, the gray rock method is basically be boring. Be boring. Don't be interesting, and don't share more than the very basics of things. Give one word answers. Keep it simple. If you're boring, they have nothing to really take from you. You're not giving away anything anymore. You're being more intentional about your boundaries, and they're going to start to see that. As my boundaries coach would say, is you have to teach people how to treat you. You can't just tell them, because then that's an expectation on them. You have to teach them. So you have to show up with those boundaries. You have to know how to say no. You have to know how to stand down, 10 toes down, and on what it is that you're going to want, and be okay with it being kind of awkward sometimes, and maybe having some silence. After a little bit of that, they'll get the picture. And again, you can still say things. We definitely want to say the things. I'm not saying not to say the things, especially depending on the situation or relationship that it is. But let's just say it's a coworker at work or something like that. We don't need to tell them all of your business, whatever it is. We just give one word answers, and we just seem very boring to where they don't even ask you anymore. This is about staying very neutral. It's about showing that you control your energy now. You're no longer giving it away. They can no longer suck it from you. They have nothing to get from you anymore. So if you seem boring, if you seem uninterested, it's not fun anymore. So they will go find someone else to suck energy from because they have nothing to get from you. Usually in these instances, it could be subconscious for them, so we're not blaming anyone or anything like that, but they are seeking something outside of themselves to pour back into themselves. And so they're just taking your energy. They're literally taking, let's say it's money, they're taking some money from you to put back into their bank because they don't have any. And you just keep allowing that to happen. So we're going to just be more intentional about, now I don't have anything to give. And so then they got to go find it somewhere else. Stop subscribing to certain ones. We're going to go ahead and just put a pause on those, or just say no to those. And now we're going to budget for the things that we do want. And we're just treating it just like money. So for me, I used to spend a lot of my energy going out, drinking, being around certain people that I knew probably were not my real friends, just being in certain environments, being at certain jobs, saying yes to certain investments and business things or projects and things that were not fully a hell yes for me. And this is something that I've been learning, is I need to move from a hell yes. If it's a maybe, then I'm not moving right now. So unless it's a hell yes, and then I'm going to go do it, then I'm not going to move right now. Now, sometimes going out, I need to get out of the house because I am a Virgo. I'm more hermit mode. I'm working, I'm doing things like that. So I do need to get out every once in a while. But usually, when those things happen, I kind of already feel like I need to do something. I just don't really know what it is. So when the opportunity presents itself, then I'm like, all right, let me get up and go. It may take a little bit more of me, maybe playing some music or getting myself in the mood to do that. But I already knew that I need to get out, and going out actually helps me get more energy, more motivation and stuff, just having that little bit of time. But if I'm doing that constantly and it's just like every weekend or every however often, and it's not fulfilling to me, then it's not a wise investment for me. So what I would do is I would trade that for going to the gym. I'll go to the gym on a Friday night, Saturday night. I'll go spend a couple hours there. That's a better investment on my time, my money, my energy than it is going out with people who are not going to treat me right, who probably don't really like me, spending money on all this alcohol, going home and feeling these type of things. And then the next day, I mean, alcohol is a depressant. And so then a couple days later, you're starting to feel depressed and all these other things. You spent that money and whatever it is, you spent that time and energy doing that when you could have been doing something else towards your higher self, towards this new version of yourself, towards your goals, the things you really want, the hell's yeses. So as far as this investment strategy, we want to focus on 3 things this week, 3 things that are good investments, good habits. And we're going to choose to do those things this week and see how they make us feel. Remember, this is treating our energy as currency. We pick our 3 things that we want to give our best to this week. And those are our main focuses. Everything else will get whatever is left over afterwards. But we are not going to deplete ourselves either. So be aware of that as you do this and as you move forward. The next thing that will help you when you have no other choice but to be around these people who are draining you, or you're not quite sure, you're just kind of figuring this out, is going to be the 12-second method. Now, this is a breathwork technique. When you're in those situations and you cannot escape, or you may only have a couple seconds real quick before you have to go into the meeting, before you have to go around these people and you know this is about to happen, you could take these 12 seconds to reset yourself. Now, I would prefer for you to do this 4 times, so it's going to be more than 12 seconds, but this is going to be the breathwork technique of the 4-4-4. So we're going to breathe in for 4, hold for 4, breathe out for 4. This way, we reset our nervous system. We can move forward by responding and not reacting. We can consciously be aware of what's happening and who's trying to drain our energy and where we want to give that to and what kind of energy we want to give. Because we can choose to give certain energy when we walk into the rooms, when we show up. And that can also repel people too. If you're showing up, people don't like a lot of light, a lot of happiness if they got some things inside that they need to deal with. Now, some people will and they try and drain that. But again, that's when you're aware of that happening. You can start to see people's truer intentions. And then we just budget wisely at that point. Like maybe you were investing in it, but now I'm not going to invest as much. I need to pull back because I'm going to invest in some other areas now. Deep breathing activates your parasympathetic nervous system. This means it allows you to calm your nervous system. So when you see that person coming, or you think that meeting is going to happen, or whatever it is, and you're not quite sure what's going to happen, you're able to calm yourself down so that you can invest wisely, so that you can choose to respond, so that you can show up in a certain way. Or you can just be calm and not anxious. The 4-4-4 method will help you do this. And you want to do it 4 times, which is about a minute long. So if you have 1 minute, which you have 1 minute as you're walking to the meeting, as you're walking to the interview, as you're walking into the store, whatever the thing is, and you don't want your energy to be just drained and taken from you, you can be intentional about controlling your energy and tapping in to see how much you actually have in your reserve. After work, how much do I have left over? So I'm going to do the 4-4-4 method. Breathe in for 4, hold for 4, breathe out for 4. Do that 4 times. Reset my system so I can tap in and see, what do I have left in my tank? And then where do I want to give that to? Can I even give anything right now? Or is that going to put me on the ground and put me into a spiral? And then sometimes you may have to be vocal about that. Like, I'm hitting my breaking point. I only have a little bit left in me. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not trying to, come off as this or anything and be rude, but I only have 1% left. And if anything else is taken from me in this moment, Like somebody's going down, you know? You can be vocal about it, express that depending on who the person is in the situation, but just being vocal about that so others know around you. And then maybe they can pour into you or they can not take from you. Maybe they will say, let's do this later. Let's talk about this later. Maybe we need to go, we'll come back tomorrow, whatever the thing is. But this is tapping in, and then you can respond and you can show up differently. Our energy is precious. We want to protect it like we do our bank accounts. You don't let everybody see it, you don't let everybody into it, and you're going to want to budget. We want to audit it and see. And then we use the gray rock method if we need to. We unsubscribe, basically. And then we want to look at where we want to invest because we want it to compound, we want it to build it, we want it to pour into us, we want it to be reciprocal. And then we want to be able to reset when needed, especially when things just pop up, unexpected expenses and things like that. We want to have the tool and the ability and the skill to reset when we need to. Let me know in the comments, what is one area that is draining you that you're going to address this week? And if you're new here, go ahead and subscribe so that you don't miss out on any more of these videos where I talk more about time, energy, and focus so that your habits stick, so that you can show up as this new person and create this new identity, as well as just being able to gain more energy and protect your energy. And don't forget to do your 3-day audit. Assess, be aware of what is draining you and what is pouring into you so that you can make wise investments. And as always, continue to shine on.